Parents may ask, why is our son using drugs? What causes addiction? Let me first begin by saying that the most common drug that youngsters abuse is alcohol, and that we are far too careless in how alcohol is used, especially for youngsters. Young people come to a Shalom Zocher and they are served beer. They go to a wedding and they drink at the wedding bar. There are youngsters, yeshiva boys, who get together Friday night and drink alcohol. I think this is a serious mistake. No, there is nothing wrong with a grown-up taking a l'chaim or two. But young people, particularly under the age of 18, their brains are still developing. They are very sensitive to the effects of alcohol, and their judgment is not yet adequately mature to know how to use alcohol and when to stop. I think we have to be much more concerned about how our young people use alcohol, and if you are having a Shalom Zocher, do not serve the youngsters beer. Discourage young people from drinking, except for a little bit of wine on Kiddush Friday night. Drinking on Purim has been traditional, but we are living in a new age today where alcoholism and drug addiction are serious problems. Yes, the Chofetz Chaim knew the Talmud as well as anyone else. And the Chofetz Chaim in Mishnah Berurah says very definitely that the Ramah's position is correct, that one need not drink to intoxication, but just drink a little bit more than usual and go to sleep. I believe that the Chofetz Chaim is fully reliable as a posek. And I think that the drunkenness on Purim should be stopped completely. And I think that those people who allow it and condone it are committing a serious offense. Now, some people take a drink and they don't get addicted. Some people take a drug and they don't get addicted. And we don't understand why it is that some people are more susceptible to addiction and others not. There are people who have an injury or surgery and are given powerful painkillers and may use the painkillers several times a day for 10 days, 20 days, and then stop. And there's other people who continue the use much longer than the pain requires and have become addicted to prescription painkillers. And incidentally, the most serious addiction drug problems today are not with street drugs, but with prescription drugs, which are sometimes given out carelessly by physicians and also can be bought on the street. Ultimately, we don't know the answer why one person becomes addicted and another not. However, in the 1960s, there developed a philosophy of, if it feels good, do it. And we have become the most pleasure-seeking society in history. We are also a culture that does not know how to delay anything, how to postpone gratification. Technology has given us such miracles to give us instant results in so many areas of life. And if you put those two together, pleasure-seeking and the desire for instant results, instant gratification, drugs are probably the only thing that can fill the bill. So I think that what young people are doing is not much different than what the grown-ups are doing. But it is much more disastrous for young people because these are the years of their growth. Their judgment is not yet mature, and they do foolish things, get into a great deal of trouble, and sacrifice the most precious years of their education. Now, what happens after a youngster has been treated? Let's assume he's gone into a rehabilitation center. He spends several weeks there and comes out and goes back to the use of drugs. Well, first of all, youngsters particularly think that they can beat the system. They heard all that was said in the rehabilitation center, but no, that doesn't apply to me. I can still use occasionally, I can still drink occasionally. And so they go back and try again. And they may have to have several relapses before they realize they can't handle alcohol or drugs. Now, one of the things that is most important is that just as it is important that the young man or the young woman get appropriate treatment, it is equally important that the family, especially the parents, go to the support groups such as Al-Anan or Nar-Anan. In many situations, the failure of the parents to go to these groups may be responsible for the youngster's failure to recover. No, the parents do not cause the addiction. However, the parents play an important role in a child's recovery, but they cannot go by their own emotions and by their own ideas as to what is good and what is bad. They need the experience of people who've been there. And the family groups such as Al-Anan and Nar-Anan can provide precious knowledge based upon actual experience as to what parents should do or what parents should not do. Unfortunately, many people do not recover from their addiction until they have reached a crisis which we call rock bottom. And there can be several rock bottoms, one lower than the other. And this is why it's so important for the parents to know to avoid eliminating the bottom by doing what we call enabling, and that is not allowing the youngster to feel the consequences of his or her addictive behavior. We may try to be kind to them and not realize that such kindness can sometimes be dangerous. So the youngsters should participate in their treatment, and it's crucial that the families participate in the family groups of Al-Anan and Nar-Anan.